Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest, and Christmas Ravies is released on the JP side. We have kind of her stats and information, and we're going to go ahead and go through it. She has been announced on the global side as well for a 120 release, it appears. So we're going to go ahead and talk about what that might look like, whether or not she's going to be worth it as a unit to pursue. So let's go ahead and dig in. So I don't know if she has been fully announced yet, but this screenshot was shared with me almost like a week ago now. It's been a while that it's been chilling in my Discord. I don't know whether it's been data mined or what have you, but it does look like Christmas Ravies is going to be coming out the week of the 19th on the global side. So we are going to be talking about Ravies, and we're going to talk about kind of what she's missing as well from her Dream Ability Kit in kind of the comparison. So is she going to be a pretty good unit? I think she'll end up being pretty good. For starters, she's cost 70. She is going to have a moderately okay TMR, defense 6, accuracy 15. It has human killer 25 for allies. Not really the best, I would say. It's for physical attack only. Her master ability very similarly increases HP and ice attack for ice allies, increases accuracy 15 for herself. Not the best. A lot of her goodies are hidden away in that dream ability, where she can get an additional 20 defense, single target resistance 15, and an upgrade to her job level 25 ability. So when you're just looking at her initially and you're thinking, okay, what's her, what's the immediate draw towards her, you don't really see anything right away. And when you're looking at her stats, you kind of see a similar situation. You see what I would describe as a Esther-like ice unit, essentially. She's going to have pretty good amounts of attack. She has attack plus 20%. She's a great sword user, of course. She has HP. She has 10 defense built into her kit as well. So she's going to be a unit that's designed around taking a couple of hits, dealing a lot of damage, and kind of just being in the fray. And her resistances kind of reflect that. She has 20% missile resistance, 20% pierce resistance, and she's 10% weak to striking and 5% resistant to slash. So the only thing that's really going to stop her is going to be probably a really good striking unit or a magic based unit. She has charm resistance, sleep resistance, and 10% disable resist. And once you get into her kit and start looking at things, she kind of has a variety of ways she can go. You're probably going to be setting Great Knight's Secret, which is going to give defense penetration 50, which is great, attack 36%. And then you kind of have a couple of options. You go the sub-knight route for Knowledge of the Knight, which now gives slash resistance penetration. With the knight changes, that would be slash resistance penetration 40. Maybe pair her with Esther's sword. You could go for Holy Knight's protection for an additional 12% HP and 12 defense. You go for Unwavering Heart, which is her other passive from her job, which will give pierce resistance 12% and missile resistance 12%, bringing her up to 32% resistance on both. And that's without her buffs that buff pierce resistance. And she has Holy Protection from Knight as well, which gives debuff resistance and AoE resistance. Looking at her counter, it's a little bit weird because she has Patience, Sword Guard, and Paladin Guard. But according to everything here, Patience is literally the same thing as Sword Guard, like literally the same percentages and the same chance to reduce the damage taken. So I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know if maybe there's another effect that's not been uploaded here. This is going to be something to think about when you are, pulling for her or whenever she gets a global release to see if maybe her counter is different than Sword Guard. I imagine it probably is. I imagine this is probably like a WoTV calc translation, but we'll have to kind of wait and see. Her primary job, pretty interesting. Decreases attack 43% on her primary attack, but she has a buff which dispels auto restore for opponents. So she can buff your units where if your units hit the opponent, it dispels auto restore. Now, I think this is kind of like the gimmick of her character. And unfortunately, I don't think it is a very good gimmick, because I think a lot of the times, once you've already gotten this buff off and your units are within range of attacking, you're probably in a situation where they've already gotten the AP they need to either kill you, or you have a situation where one of her other buffs would have maybe arguably been better. You do need to consider that she's ice. She could be run with Eliza and Alaya, who both have really good range if you really want them to. So again, yes, you could see like a gunner, you know, counter AP build or something like that, but it's not going to take AP away from the opponents. And unless you are actively landing her job level 25 or some form of frostbite, is probably not going to be a game changer, I imagine. She does have a mixture of strike attacks, which I think is really nice in her kit as well, though. Particularly her secondary ability, if you do sub Great Knight, is a 2-hit lowers ice resistance strike attack, essentially pummel that lowers ice resistance that is ranged. I really like that. I really like multi-type attacks. I also like the fact that there are a lot of ice striking units where this could be relevant for like a ice striking raid or something like that in the future. But her beat with force in her primary kit has a chance to inflict stun, has some moderate range, and dispels protect. Encouragement of endurance does get a buff. This is not her dream buff. So it reduces the physical damage taken 50% for 3 times. For self, and then for allies, 20% pierce resistance and reaction block rate 50 for 3 turns. So again, more pierce resistance. She basically has, without any gear or anything else, 52% pierce resist if you did want to build her that way. So she's very anti-pierce. Her kind of secondary abilities here, Great Slash, gonna break physical barrier, so this will be her job level 12 ability. Cross shaped, range height 1, AoE height 1, always great to have a barrier break. And then her vertical cut ability is a dispel to ignore fatal damage. So having both of these, very good for her kit, particularly as a brawler-esque unit. What's interesting is this does decrease AP as well and has pretty good range here. The dream ability upgrade for this just restores AP. All it does is add a restore AP 10 for self. So if you're looking at, you know, is the dream ability going to completely change how this unit plays? Is it going to transform her capabilities? I would actually say probably not. Now, a lot of people are probably going to be asking about Immortal Spirit. She does have Immortal Spirit, which is great, but again, that's only 1 cast. She doesn't have any type of re-raise in her initial kit, so when it comes down to guild battles or multi-battles, probably, you know, again, going to suffer a little bit. And then her limit break, Holy Knight, Frozen Ball, increases defense penetration 30, so another unit where she's going to easily be able to hit 100% defense pen, which a couple of units have been able to do now, is going to be really nice. It's a cross-shaped attack, 200% modifier, and it has a 67% chance to inflict frostbite, which again is great, right? The fact that you can either, you know, potentially remove bells and land frostbite simultaneously. Whether or not that's going to be enough to drain the AP of your opponents before they can take an action, or if they're going to have enough AP to either kill you after that, kind of remains to be seen. I'm kind of curious how this is going to play out. I think she could either be a very powerful brawling character, or a very powerful brawling character with the capability to reduce enemy AP. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes in the meta on the JP side. If I were to say, should you pull for her right now, I would say let's wait a couple of days and let's see how this plays out on JP. I definitely don't think her dream ability really seems worth it, and it definitely doesn't seem like she will be meta for long, particularly with the discussions they've had around potentially more fire cost units coming out, specifically 100 cost fire units. It really, like, this could really shake up, you know, ice for a long time, or they could just be baiting you before they release a strong as hell fire unit in the next patch and update. So really curious what you guys think down below in the description, and hopefully I'll catch you guys on the next one.